Welcome to Chats with Moi. I am the founder of Adulting with Moi, Quick, and I'm here with the real estate expert, Chris Bolden. And basically, this is the chance, and this is the segment all about real estate, and this is the chance for you to ask all your questions and get them answered by a real estate expert. Okay, so let's just dive right in. Chris, you can go away, and it's not go away. We're not gonna say go away.
How you doing? I'm Chris Bolden. I am a local real estate agent in the Atlanta metro area. My brokerage is Keller Williams Buckhead, which is the #1 grossing brokerage in the entire nation. So we do a lot of volume, a lot of units every year. So happy to be a part of that brokerage. And I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so we're just gonna dive in because there's so many questions you guys have asked, and I don't want to make this too long. Okay, so first question, where does one begin? You know, with buying to be specific and investing to be even more specific.
So when purchasing a home, especially purchasing a first-time home, the first thing you want to do is get pre-approved.
Okay.
With a mortgage company or a credit union or a bank or someone that you trust. If you don't know where to go to get pre-approved, connect with the local real estate agent such as myself.
Yeah.
And we can connect you to those avenues. You want to get pre-approved because you want to know how much house you qualify for.
Okay.
Especially with fluctuating interest rates and things like that. You want to know exactly how much house you can buy.
Okay.
So that way you're not out there shopping for a $300,000 home when you only qualify for maybe $200,000.
Oh yeah, that's the
So
difference.
first step is getting pre-approved if you want to buy, even if you want to invest. Looking up different investment companies or some people prefer the hard money, but banks as well, to see how you go about that process. And again, consulting with a local real estate agent is probably going to be your best bet. So first stop, real estate agent.
Okay, so you guys heard that. Wherever you are, obviously, changes with like the taxes, interest, all that great stuff. So you want to get someone that's local in your area, or at least local in the area you're gonna buy, correct? Okay, so that's good. I guess. Well, I had another question that came up with this. So, I guess my question is, with the investing with banks, like, do you go in asking for a mortgage loan or a house loan? Like, I don't even know the term. So
Yeah, so there's different types of investing.
Okay.
There is the long-term investments where you want to buy a property, rent it out.
Yeah.
So sometimes, a lot of times, people go through either a bank or credit union, or they fund it themselves. If you want to pay cash for it, sometimes they go through these hard money lending companies. Anybody who is a financier or lender will be able to kind of guide you in that direction if you want to do like a long-term rental.
Gotcha.
If you're just doing a flip, more likely than not, you're going to go towards like a hard money lender. But be careful when you're doing that. A lot of times they'll walk you through it, but again, if you're interested in doing that, consult with the real estate agent first, because there's so much terminology and things that would need to be explained and help you to walk through. You don't want to get lost in the sauce and end up owing somebody thousands and thousands of dollars.
That's real.
Yeah.
Don't watch that show, Flip or Flop, and think you could just get out there and do it. Also that is televised TV. So, but okay, good to know. The next question is, what are the legal documents that go into real estate deals? If you can give us high level view.
Okay. There's a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So there can be only a few, but there's a handful of them.
Okay.
So the first thing that you want to think about is the purchase and sale agreement. This is your contract.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. The purchase and sale agreement is going to list out everything from the purchase price to your earnest money, which we'll talk about in a little bit, to closing costs that the seller contributes, the closing attorney, any stipulations. You're going to have all of those. There will be things that your real estate agent sends you, such as different agreements when you're getting ready to put an offer in on a property. But the most important thing that you have to remember is to read through your purchase and sale agreement, or have your agent read through it with you, explaining every single tidbit, because it's your right to know.
Yeah.
But as the deal goes on, there will be more and more pieces that will be introduced. But the main one is the purchase and sale agreement, for the most part.
Okay, and I guess that followed up my second part of that question, which was what contracts are needed to close the deal. But I think you already kind of answered
So
it.
on that contract, there's a lot of different things that you'll need to focus on. So for instance, the earnest money, which I just talked about. Your earnest money is basically a deposit to say that you're going to buy a home. So for instance, if I'm looking to buy a home and you have a home for sale and it's on the market, and I say,
It'd be like $400K.
okay, $400K home, right? So your earnest money is typically going to be anywhere from 1% to 5% of whatever the home cost is. Depending on the seller, they can change it how they want.
Okay.
So I say, I want to buy your home. Here's my contract, my offer to buy your home. Here is my earnest money, which is basically a deposit for you to keep your home off the market while I get my financing together.
Oh, got it.
Okay. Now, the earnest money in the end is applied towards your closing costs, which is another term. So, closing costs is money that you bring to the table at the end of the deal before you get the keys. Other finances you may be thinking about is down payment.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, so down payment. Your down payment is through your lender or whoever your financier is. So once we have a house under contract, then the lender will kind of connect with you and let you know what your down payment is.
Okay.
Under a FHA loan, which is a government-backed loan, it's 3.5%. If you have a VA loan, then you don't have to do a down payment. So
What's a VA loan?
A veteran loan.
Okay.
So for all the veterans out there, if you're looking to buy, now's the time. If you are doing a conventional loan, it can be anywhere from 5% to 20% of whatever the
why
total.
is that so much higher?
Well, conventional loans, they don't have as many regulations as FHA backed loans because they are FHA are sponsored by the government. So
Yes.
there's a lot more things that you have to have in place
Got it.
for an FHA loan. But that's typically the route that people go is 3.5% down, and at the minimum, and then there's certain guidelines, so they make sure that you don't get into a terrible house.
Yeah, that's that'd be a scam.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is: are there first-time buyer programs that you can suggest or know of for people that are interested?
Absolutely. So Atlanta is really pushing for the first-time home buyer, not only first-time home buyer, but home buyers in general. So there's things like the Georgia Dream program, which can provide you up to $15,000 in down payment assistance, depending on income and credit. There's Invest Atlanta. There's a handful of down payment assistance programs in the city that are really pushing towards people to buy homes instead of renting. As you know, the cost of the city is getting really expensive.
Yes.
So in addition to that, interest rates have spiked this year.
I know.
So the reason that's important is because your interest rate, say going from a 4.1 to a 4.5, decreases your buying power by thousands of dollars. So whereas you could have afforded a $250,000 house, now you can only afford maybe $225,000 or $230,000. And so that makes a big difference in this really fast growing economy. So I encourage you all, look into it to buy as soon as possible.
Okay, cool. And for people that are not in Atlanta, maybe just do a Google search for.
Give me a call. I have connections
yeah.
in every single major city.
Perfect.
So yeah, give me a call, shoot me an email. I can connect you to someone.
Yeah, see? You got it. You're good. You're good. Okay. So the next question, basically, how does one use other people's, I guess, money, their investors, to flip homes, buy or purchase real estate?
Yeah. So that really gets into a kind of a tricky question because let me give you just one example of flipping. So say you contact a hard money lender or some type of lender who's going to provide that. You would have to come up with your own earnest money, and typically there's a fee to use the program, and it covers like different things like appraisal, stuff like that. Now, if you have a house under contract, which you probably need an agent for. You have a house under contract. They will provide you those funds to pay for the home, as well as any rehab costs that come along with it. Some only provide up to like 70 or 85%. Some provide the full 100%. But on the back end is where they get their money because of those interest rates. And then whenever you have finished rehabbing the home, gone through the whole process, you sell the home, they take their cut, and then that's how you get your cut. I want to tread lightly how I say this because, you know, I don't want to stray anyone away from it, but the market is very, very competitive, especially here in Atlanta. Investors are everywhere. And so you want to make smart decisions on that. If this is your first time trying to get into investing or getting into flipping a home, do not go at it alone. As I said before, contact you an agent. You know, contact me. If I'm not the right person, I will get you the right person. But that is you don't want to do it alone, basically.
No solo dolos.
Yes,
Got it.
yes.
Have a teammate or teammates. Cool. Okay, so then the next question was, what is the difference between, this is specific, but what is the difference between passive versus quick flips? And can you explain what these are for people that don't even know what passive and quick flips are?
So passive income is basically you getting income on a monthly basis, which would be a rental property. So you buy a property, you get a tenant inside, you're getting passive income. So you pay whatever the mortgage is, or if you pay cash for the property, you know, you're receiving a monthly income. That's passive.
Gotcha.
A flip is what I just described a minute ago, to where you purchase a property, probably with the help of a lender, unless you have cash, big baller.
Yeah.
You purchase a property with the help of a hard money lender, and then you supervise the rehabbing, and then you sell it, and that's a quick flip.
Gotcha.
So quick flips usually happen within the span of 3 to 6 months on the long end. If something's going awry, 9 months maybe, but typically 3 to 6 months is how long those take.